The PDP Kogi Central, Natasha Akpabio, and the Senate President Akpabio over allegations of sexual harassment. Natasha has now issued a satirical apology to Senate President Akpabio, reigniting discussions about gender dynamics and power struggles within Nigeria's legislative chambers. In a letter dripping with biting irony, Senator Akpabio offered what could be described as a profuse apology for the grievous crime of maintaining dignity and self-respect in the Senate President's presence. Let's take a look at the letter. Now, this letter goes on to say, from the desk of Senator Natasha Akpabio, I'm going to read this very quickly. Dear distinguished Senate President Akpabio, it is with the deepest sarcasm and utmost theatrical regret that I tender this apology for the grievous crime of possessing dignity and self-respect in your most exalted presence. I have reflected extensively on my unforgivable failure to recognize that legislative success in certain quarters is apparently not earned through merit, but through the ancient art of compliance of the very personal kind. How remiss of me not to understand that my refusal to indulge your requests was not merely a personal choice, but a constitutional violation of the unwritten laws of certain men's entitlement. Truly, I must apologize for prioritizing competence over capitulation, vision over vanity, and the people's mandate over private dinners behind closed doors. I now realize the catastrophic consequences of my actions: legislation delayed, tempers flared, and the tragic bruising of egos so large they require their own postcodes. For this disruption to the natural order of quid pro quo, I bow my head in fictional shame. Please find it in your magnanimous heart, somewhat buried deep beneath layers of entitlement, to forgive this stubborn woman who mistakenly believed that her seat in the Senate was earned through elections, not erections. I remain yours in eternal resistance, Senator Natasha H. Akpabio, unafraid, unbought, unbroken. Well, let's take a look at the tweets. The first tweet is from Fly Scholar. Fly Scholar, what are you saying? He said, this is probably the first time I'm seeing this level of satirical writing from a Nigerian politician. This will definitely get Akpabio and his supporters really pissed if they come across it. Of course they have. But seriously, I strongly doubt she actually wrote it, because what's the point? If she wanted to apologize, she would have. And if not, she could simply have just stayed silent. No need for all this. Honestly, I just hope it doesn't cause further issues or delay her resumption after an already unfair suspension. And Karigwe tweeted saying, reading through these comments, I'm deeply disappointed. It's disheartening to see how quickly people mock or dismiss a serious issue of alleged misconduct. This reflects a deeper societal rot where victims are ridiculed instead of supported. We seriously need to re-educate ourselves and start living better. Well, there you have it. That was a letter. First of all, I have to just give it up to whoever wrote it. If not anything, just for the pun intended in the letter. The person is definitely the witty nature of the letter, definitely true artistry in the skill in putting together that letter. But now to the point of what the letter was for. She was expected to apologize, because we know the suspension was because of the disruption that was caused in the House. That's what she was told she was suspended for. But she says, no, it's not about this. It's because there are other issues that are influencing some of these cherry picking of issues to handle, which in turn led to her changing her seat. Now, we're seeing this as her letter. The question now is, what next? She went to the IPU. She's granted several interviews, but it seems as though a lot of the issues she's raised have fallen on deaf ears. She also alleged that her father's house or her relative's house in Kogi State was recently attacked as well. Nothing has been done. Nothing has been said. So could this be her own way of saying, listen, everyone, I'm still here and I'm unafraid and I am unbought?
Okay. Anyway, all of this is very amusing. I've been seeing a number of comments say, oh, this is satire and all of that. As a man with a PhD in criticism, I used to teach a course called Comedy and Other Comic Forms many years back in my other life, before I got diverted into this he said, she said, they said business. We used to teach the students that, look, satire is the highest form of comedy, and the lowest form is farce and burlesque. So when I read Natasha Akpabio senator's statement, I thought this whole thing has become very farcical. It's just becoming, the lowest extreme of comedy. Clearly, the meaning of her statement, which she calls an apology, is contained in the last paragraph. She says she's unbroken, she's, unfounded, she's, which means that really this is not meant to be an apology. And, many people will be amused by all that play on erection as opposed to election, theatrical register, and all of that. Well, whoever wrote that, a lot of sarcasm contained there. I won't say wit. William Hazlitt was the one who wrote an essay on wit. So that's a whole theoretical subject, what the meaning of wit is. But don't let me be pedantic, But I think, look, we should just return to the basic issues.
Yes.
The basic issues about allegations of sexual harassment, the request for evidence, the matters that are in court, because there are now so many dimensions. Sandra Duro, who used to work with us at Hints magazine many years ago, when I used to do romance journalism. I've seen her also on social media, posting a number of things and raising allegations. I think in all of this, the key issues may be lost in translation. I think it's the key original issues that we should focus upon. The allegation, is there any evidence possible? The matter that is before the court, and then, the larger issues that others have raised about the connection between this and politics and women empowerment and responsibility. Those should be the serious issues. But I guess Nigerians will enjoy the entertainment, the burlesque, and the absurdity, to which...
I normally say that Senator Natasha is who she said she is. She is good. She is good. Like, she brought out this letter because the due process is not followed. The issues need to be revisited. Both of them are haunting, and the court is sleeping. So, she did the right thing and a serious allegation, and we are doing blah 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 with people that are hurting. Hey, when I see flying videos here and there on social media and said that Senator Natasha apologized to Akpabio and the Senate Council, I was like, this woman. Before I now kukuma go sit down and see these letters, and I see these sarcasms, like, hey, Chimo, I cannot just emphasize in that. See, some people will just give information and they will now quick to type. You will not watch video from the beginning to the end, and you're now quick to type. What are you typing? What are you typing, for crying out loud? Anyways, I have a video of Arise TV talking about the Natasha issues, and I believe that you like watching it. Like, you watch the first clip, so I had to like say one or two before I will leave the full clip for you guys to watch. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Have you watched that later? Have you read it? Did you listen to that later? Anyway, some people, they hear something there, but they cannot comprehend. You see your girl in the building, you and two media. It's all about entertainment, celebrity gist, latest movies review, and we talked about politics as well. As a Nigerian diaspora are hunting for Natasha to expose most of these leaders in this country. Recently, you see waiting Delta State governor said that anybody that you see with Dada, they should arrest that person. They should cut the Dada. Anyways, watch the full video with me.
When I saw this, I was online when I saw it being uploaded, when I saw the post show up on my feed. And my initial response, I was just telling Dr. Abati, I thought she had been hacked because I couldn't, I surely did. When I read it, I was a little bit confused. But, you know, we often talk about how we reduce most things to humor.
Yes.
You know, no matter how serious they are, we always find a way to create humor around things. Maybe it's a coping mechanism for, you know, it's a survival strategy to just get us through some hard times. And possibly this is what that is. But I felt that it was unnecessary. Understandably, in the world of communications, whether it be political communications or corporate communications, sometimes it's important to register your presence and remind people that you're still there, that this issue has not died down. Just because it's no longer in the news cycle, it hasn't gone away. So I suppose this was the strategy, is to just remind us that there is an issue. It may not be in the front of a news cycle, but I'm going to bring it back to the front burner. And when you study content creation, I did a couple of courses on content creation and content that attracts eyeballs. They say sometimes you have to do something shocking in order to recapture the narrative and bring something back to the top of the news cycle, as she has done now. So I think that a mere statement...
She's a content creator.
Oh, we
I
are.
didn't.
No, but to be honest, isn't everyone, though?
Everything on social media is content creation.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's there to create engagement, to get attention, engagement is the currency of social media.
Exactly.
So if you post something and there's no engagement around it, it's unsuccessful. That's in the world of content creation and engaging people on social media, which is where a lot of this has played out. Now, I like Dr. Abati's point, which is that, fine, there's the social media, there's the public sphere to this. But let's not take away from the fact that these are very serious allegations. There's a serious issue at play here, which needs to go through the necessary processes. Now, this is where we can challenge and say, surely, yes, there's a 6-month suspension, but there are other issues in court. This is taking too long because this is a matter of great public interest. So I think this is an opportunity for us to also say that, fine, we can bring what we call a satirical apology. The question is, will Akpabio answer? Will he say, Senator Akpabio, will he say apology received? No. But is this going to remind us that our judicial system is slow? And we need to find ways to quicken the system so that these types of things can be settled speedily, especially in the interest where it interests lawmakers. These are people who represent our interest, the common good. It's dragging on for too long. Yes, fine, there's a 6-month suspension, but the other issues that are before the courts, surely by now, we hope to have heard back from the courts.
Absolutely, most definitely. And I think it also raises the question around what people in this type of situations can do. Because as much as these are still allegations, we find allegations like this across board, whether it's in politics, whether it's in business, whether it's in media, it's in in health, it's in every industry present. So if we see this handled with this, with the level of seriousness that has been placed on this case, what are the odds for any other person who may have a similar story to share? And those are the real questions here as well. Let's take another story. Over the weekend, reports emerged of a missing student who left home to sit for this year's JAMB examination, which began on April 24th and will run through May 5th. Now, following these reports, the 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi criticized the scheduling of the 2025 UTME, saying that the early start times are endangering young students. In a strongly worded statement, Peter Obi expressed concern that teenagers, many between 15 and 17, are being required to arrive at exam centers as early as 6:30 a.m. Peter Obi described the practice as reckless. Let's take a look at a part of his tweet. He said, "I came across multiple reports of students being asked to attend a public examination by 6:30 a.m. Teenagers, mostly around 15 to 17 years old, forced to travel in the dark, even in the face of insecurity, across dangerous and unfamiliar locations because they want to get the basic right of education and sit for JAMB examinations. Setting exams for vulnerable teenagers as early as 6 a.m. while transporting them from far-flung locations is reckless." Already reports are emerging of students getting into accidents, losing their young lives, some going missing, and many more being subjected to unnecessary trauma. Who takes responsibility when a 15 or 16-year-old disappears or is harmed while trying to assess their right to education? This situation sadly exposes a deeper systemic failure. Nigeria simply does not have enough universities and exam centers to cater for its youth. Meanwhile, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has dismissed Peter Obi's claim that the exam body forced admission-seeking teenagers to travel in the dark to write exams. Now, I'm a bit twisted on this subject. One, because once upon a time, 6:30 a.m. was, as a matter of fact, most ideal time to be ready to go to school. You get to school, assembly starts at 7 a.m. in the morning. So I'm not sure if it's a matter of JAMB being reckless or we are in a state of heightened insecurity in Nigeria. And as such, some of these rules that are normal need to be bent to accommodate the system. So the issue here is there is a security lapse in Nigeria across various parts of the country. Whereas there's nothing, I don't even know why, I don't know, but I thought 6:30 was norm. You know, Dr. Abati.
No, I think the big issue here is that, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board will need to engage with Mr. Obi. I think Mr. Obi probably does not know the processes, JAMB, in terms of the examinations. Yes, in the news this week, or from last week, there have been concerns that, young people, 15, 16-year-olds are required to get to the examination centers early. But Dr. Fabian Benjamin, that's his name, who is a spokesperson for JAMB, has explained that the time for exam is 8 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 noon, and also 3 p.m. Now, when you apply for JAMB, you are supposed to choose a location that is close to where you live, that is convenient for you. So each candidate has that option to choose the computer-based center, CBT center that is close to you. And that in any case, most of the people who will need to come at 8 a.m., not 6:30 a.m., not 6 a.m., they are, persons who are like just 1% of the population across the country. And the question, therefore, is, okay, if you are going to write an exam at 8 a.m., and you have chosen that early hour to go and write the exam at a particular computer-based center, the assumption is that, well, you will need to get there at least 30 minutes before time. And Fabian Benjamin was saying that, look, what JAMB has seen is that some people will even arrive at 12 noon.
Very true.
Meanwhile, they've been scheduled for 8 a.m. examination. And their parents will come and start making trouble to say, look, my child got here. Why would my child come at 8 a.m. to come and write an examination? Another thing that I saw in the explanation by Dr. Benjamin was he saying that, look, these same people will not get to exam center at 8 a.m. If the family was traveling and the flight was scheduled for 4 a.m., they will get to the airport at 2 a.m. So if you are just writing an exam for 1 hour, for 8 a.m., not 6 a.m., you should be able to get there, at least 1 hour before, 30 minutes before. And if 8 a.m. is not convenient for you, choose the 11 a.m. slot, choose the 12 noon slot, choose the 3 p.m. slot. This is the explanation that JAMB has given. But I also see in the narratives that JAMB is having issues with parents who go to computer-based centers to assist their children and to go and make trouble. They are also having issues with some of the computer-based exam centers, and they've had to blacklist about 27 of them. So, look, the issue is about discipline. The issue is about people making the choice that is convenient for them in terms of timing. Yeah. It's not a political thing.
Yeah.
I understand Mr. Peter Obi's concern as a parent. Yeah. He would want to speak up. As a politician, he would want to be seen to be defending popular interests. But I think the onus now is on JAMB to engage with him and explain the protocols to him. Nobody goes to write exam at 6 a.m. That is not true.
All right. Well, a new development has emerged in politics in the politics of Delta State, as Honorable Minister Festus Keyamo and the Delta All Progressives Congress Foundation leaders have surrendered leadership to Delta State Governor Sheriff Oborevwori as the new leader of APC and seek for his direction. Now, the question on many people's lips